Yes, people, good morning. Welcome to the Transfer View. Welcome back to United View. Hope you guys are doing good. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day, man. It's a time where you get halfway through the week. You've climbed the hill to get through the first few days of work, and now you're over that hump and you start coming down towards the weekend, etc. Yeah, towards that Friday, happy Friday and all of that stuff. So big up to everyone watching. Smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. To say that today is a jam-packed show is an understatement, to be honest with you. The things that have been spoken about online, some of the reports that have come out online that are actual factual in terms of, they're coming from sources, etc., versus the fan opinion. It is all going off, as the soundbite famously once said. It actually is, and we're in that territory, guys. We're in that territory. Big opinion, big frustrations. Why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? It's all going off. But the house rules are the house rules first before we do anything. And we've got nearly 400 people watching straight away, nearly 125 or just over 125 likes now. If you haven't liked the video, please do it now. 81% of you have said, yes, I have liked the video. 18% of you have said doing it now. So shout out to the 82%. Big up UV fam, says Jonathan. John James says big up Flex and Owen. Good morning, Flex and Owen, says Jedi Pro. Circus continue, says DJ Vic. Ten Hag gone, says Ismail. And I'm 106, the 106th like, says United Rules. What are we going to be talking about today? Well, yeah, someone just said it there, Ten Hag gone, but I'm not saying that. But there has been a lot of reports about Eric Ten Hag's future, as per usual, but one in particular, rumors.
I don't even
we're going to talk
reports.
about rumors. Olise to Chelsea talks as well. There's rumors or reports saying that Chelsea have, stoked up their interest in Michael Olise and want to get a deal done to fend off Manchester United. Eric Ten Hag exit rumors. Sancho Dortmund latest as well. What's going on there? And United Sesko offer, along with others as well. From Romano's talking about that. So much to get involved with. Let's get straight into it because it's a jam-packed show.
Yes, a jam-packed show indeed. Let's start off talking about Michael Olise, a name that's been linked to Manchester United for months now at this point. He was one of the targets people assumed that Manchester United were going to be front and centre for this summer. And the latest reporting is maybe not so much, Flex, because this came from Academy Scoop, who has broken quite a few stories when it pertains to academy players, as the name would suggest, towards the end of the season. Kobbie Mainoo's debut, Amari Forson's debut, etc., etc. So there is a bit of credibility to this one. Transfers, we'll wait and see. But he has reported that Chelsea will meet with Michael Olise's representatives in the coming days with a view to proactively concluding a deal. The London club are taking aggressive measures to ensure they beat Manchester United to the Frenchman signing, their efforts aided by Olise's pre-existing relationship with Chelsea recruitment specialist Joe Shields. It continues by saying, despite holding Olise in high regard, a right winger doesn't rank highly on Manchester United's priority list as highly on the priority list as some have alluded to. Ineos are focusing their efforts on defensive and midfield signings. Talks are underway with representatives of several potential targets. Now, obviously, Flex, this then begins, I would describe as maybe meltdown number one of the transfer of the transfer window that hasn't opened just yet, which is nothing's changing at Manchester United. This is the problem. Why are we taking so long with the manager stuff? And this leads into not signing players. We're going to miss out on Olise. This is a disgrace, blah, 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 blah. And I'm a big fan of Olise. I am. I have been for a while. I know that people have concerns about his injury record and what have you, which is fair. But I'm a big fan of his. But we can't forget that it might have been a week ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, where a lot of people were all saying, good player, really like him. Hey, hope Man United do sign him. But in terms of the priority this summer, well, I think we all unanimously agreed, did we not, that right winger, that's probably a luxury in comparison to what we actually need, i.e. centre-backs, midfielders, strikers. Like, in terms of the priority list, he'd be about, or that position rather, would be about what? Fourth or fifth? I haven't even mentioned left back. So, there's a lot to do with maybe the right winger position isn't right up there.
100%. This is, and look, I'm not suggesting that everyone in the chat, I'm not directing this at you. I'm directing this at sort of people that you see online that are saying, see, typical Man United, like what Owen just said. It's not what we need. If we want to undo the sins of the past, exactly what we need to do is to not get involved in deals like this. If we've got a plan for other stuff, which we should. The centre-back situation is alarming right now. It needs major surgery. Central midfield is alarming. It needs major surgery. And centre forward, like we've got one. That's it. Like we have one, and he's a young kid who's been run into the ground last year and still ended up being our top scorer, to be fair to him. You know, but he's had no help. Martial's just left as well. So we have to get those three. Like the spine has got to be the priority. And also not just, like you can say the spine, but it's also like the depth of that spine as well. It isn't just like just get one centre back. Ideally, we have to get two. Or some players are staying that we maybe didn't think are actually going to stay. So like, you know, because there's a lot to do. So you say Harry Maguire stays, Leacher stays, obviously. So you got two. You buy a centre back. So you got three. Willie Camboila's obviously, he's going to stay. Might go on loan if we get more centre backs, but he stays in there. Do you then say Lindelof, you don't get to go? You got to go into your last year on a free because we just couldn't do too much. Like, ideally, if we build in the centre back department properly, we want to get two new ones. But again, money permitting. Central midfield, Eriksen's null and void now. The reliance on McTominay is, he's got a role of scoring goals, but really, we don't really want him to be starting games. We want somebody who's got better in that position. If you look at Amrabat, it's low cost-ish. You know, played in his favoured position, gave us a little bit. Do you keep him? So, and the Casemiro situation, we know we want to move him along. So you might need two central midfielders as well, because you're going to be light if you let Eriksen go and Casemiro go. You already have to then keep Sofian Amrabat, or if you let Sofian Amrabat go back to Fiorentina, then you need to replace him too. So there's so much surgery. So back to the Olise thing. Of course, he's a fantastic talent. Of course, he's a really good young player. But that money, man, that 60 to 70 million, we will be kicking ourselves if we spend it on Olise and then we go, so about these, you know, centre backs then. It's about these centre mids. It's about this forward that we need. It's not the priority. About the left back, which I don't even know how that's going to go, because really, let's be honest, Luke Shaw's just going to recover from injury, and I think he's just going to get back to being the main centre left back, and then we get like another youngster or something. I don't see them displacing Luke Shaw. I just don't. I don't know. I just don't see it.
I don't know. Possibly. Again, it depends who's there. Depends. This is a
does depend on the manager, actually. Yeah.
Depends who's there, and depends, you know, what the higher ups that are going to be in charge of recruitment do think. Because we don't know. We don't really have an insight into that much at the moment. It's been largely speculation. But yeah, with the Olise thing, I think we could get a right winger this summer. I just think that might come after the futures have been resolved of Jadon Sancho, Mason Greenwood, which obviously we'll talk about Sancho in a bit. The assumption is they both go, but who knows what's going to happen regarding all of that? You know, again, once again, it's assuming a lot of things, isn't it? And we'll have to wait and see how they all play out. But yeah, I think this is, a microcosm of just the situation at the moment, which is frustration and ambiguity. And we'll talk about the manager stuff shortly. But I think because of that, and because of not having a decision yet, and there's this feeling of, you know, when you can just, you sit there and nothing's going on, but you can almost feel time slipping, and then you see the other stories of other clubs, you know, talks or getting involved. And even there for players that you're not really interested in or not a priority, just the vision of them doing something while you're perceived as not doing anything can be quite jarring.
It gets annoying. Then you go, they're cracking on while we're just stuck here.
Exactly. When we know that we've got a lot to do. So I don't know if it's necessarily the position or the player. It's more just a sense of its movement, and we are not moving. We are stuck in one position. So I think that's probably part of it. To be fair, if I was Olise and him, I'd be like, just in general, why the rush? You got all summer. He's been named in the Olympic squad, so he's going to be delayed coming back to the Premier League season. Maybe that'll be part of the plan. Get it resolved before then. Just focus on, you know, representing France at the Olympic Games, perhaps. Of course, it's a Paris Games, isn't it? I think it is this summer as well. So that's a big deal. Yeah. So maybe that might be part of it, but I don't know. I look at the Chelsea squad as well. I go, do you really need Olise? Look at the wide players you've got.
But this is it. All of a sudden, we were hearing Madueke's, you know, on his way up now. He's becoming the guy. Cole Palmer, occupies that side a lot, but obviously can play in the 10, no problem. You always think that with Chelsea. Do you need it? What is Chelsea's strategy? Just go and get all the best young players, really, is their strategy, or the up-and-coming young players. They did it with Caicedo, did it with Enzo, done it with Mudryk, done it with Cole Palmer, done it with Fofana, even though he's had horrible injuries, done it with Badia Shields. Who else have they bought this young? Nkunku's young enough. Jackson's young. So that's clearly their model. And again, like, I think you make a really good point of, like, it would just feel like, oh, flipping Chelsea, man. So, like, they're just taking everyone, we're not, why don't we get him and stuff like that? But I'd much, if you said to me that, we're not getting Olise because of, we're prioritizing other areas, but you said to me, like, fairly quickly that, that 60 million that would have been spent on Olise has gone towards centre back A or centre mid B or, striker A, I'd be a lot more, happy about that. Because let's be real, let's just go back to last season, last transfer window. As soon as we got Mason Mount as the first signing for 60 million in that position, what did we all say? We all went,
priorities are all wrong. It's out of order.
Is
it like we're going in the wrong?
What's going on? What did we need last year? We need the striker was top of the list and goalkeeper was top of the list.
Yeah.
And a central midfielder was, to be fair, part of, like, we did need a new spine. What else did we need? No, we was all right for centre backs because we was like, we got Fran Martin. We said we got Casemiro.
Well, I think we wanted upgrades, didn't we? We were looking for upgrades of those. We're going, if we can get Maguire out, then we get, centre back.
But definitely in terms of going and splashing a big cash straight off, we was like, Mason Mount, where did that come from?
It was striker that was the top. It was striker that was the top.
100%.
Striker, 1,000,000% striker was the top. And also, again, just circling back to this thing about priorities for the right wing. When you think about it, technically we've got like 5 right wingers under contract at the moment. In fact, we got Garnacho's, I know, is a left winger, but he's a starting right winger. You've got Antony, which is this €100 million signing. You've got Ahmad, who universally people saying should be getting more minutes. If he's not going to get more minutes next season, he should definitely go out on loan or be considering a future elsewhere because he has to be playing at this point. You've then got, as I mentioned, Jane Sancho was bought to play on the right wing. You've then got Mason Greenwood, who's still under contract. That's 5 players. So why would you go?
And that's without Facundo.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's just something you got to deal with. I know he's not going to come back and play, but he's on our books.
So like, again, and I can say about whether they're good or not, whether they're going to be here, whatever. Like, I totally understand that, but just from a logical perspective, you would go, right, why would we add it on top of that before we've got to get rid of a load of them first?
We've got to trim that.
And there's other priority positions of people that we just don't have. We don't, like you said, we only have 1 striker at the moment. Yeah. Like, and also, right, to shove, if that stuff doesn't get done in the summer, you can still go, well, we can address it a bit later on because we've already got those people under contract.
Like you said, it's the cherry on the top. You have to deal with that bit first. And like you said there about working out with what we've got, the Ahmad one's really interesting, because we probably haven't spoken enough about it as a hypothetical or looking ahead kind of vibe, because we all can see the boy's talented, right? And we all can see he's got something. And it's taken us a while. I know a lot of us have been screaming for him to play, some more so than others. But it's taken us a while to have a look at him properly in the first team in big games just to see what he can do. Now, I'm not saying he is as good as Michael Olise now, or he could be him, or, he's the next him. But we do have to look at that. We spent big on Ahmad, like, quite a while ago as one for the future. That future has now developed in terms of 3 years down the line now from COVID. Well, when did he come? 2019? 19-20 season he came, didn't he? Or was it 2021?
I think 2021, I think.
Yeah, the one where we got Facundo, him, and Cavani and Telles.
I think so, because wasn't this like Sancho money that
it was when it was a shit? Yeah, I think it was a shit. Yeah, it was a shit window. And we've got these 2 kids. One who's flipping, we've sent back on loan straight away, which was Ahmad. One called Facundo, who we didn't know much about. We got Cavani on
and we
didn't
get him, and we didn't get him straight away. We signed him in October 2020. Then he agreed, and then he was going to be coming in January as well.
See,
so
that was it. And did he even come in January? I don't even know if he did. He might have actually stayed the whole time.
Yeah, he did. He did. He came and then he started in the under 23s and all that kind of stuff.
That was it.
25 million, 25 million euros, rising to 40, including bonuses.
Right. So what my point is that we've committed to an outlay of about 40 million, right, to this kid who actually now we can see he's gone on loan, done really well, come back into us, scored some big goals, a goal here or there, but also uh, we can see there's something. Do you go right? The job of the new manager and the coaching staff is to nurture this kid now and make him ours. Like let's instead of going to buy the next again 60 million investment into that, you've got a kid there who's the best part of 40 million pounds. Develop him, give him a season in there, let him be an option, and let us spend money elsewhere. So I almost would rather do that. I'll be honest, I'd rather actually do that than get Olise. I'm not saying Olise is a bad signing. Of course he's not. He's fantastic. But with what we need, I'd much rather say, right, I tell you what, let's put into this kid.
Yeah, well, there's definitely, like I said, there's a lot of talk at the moment, isn't there, about Ineos are no different than the Glazers and what have you. And look, time will tell when it comes to all that kind of stuff. But I think if missing out on Olise, I don't know if that equates to, they're nothing's any different. When you think about it, the peak Manchester United thing to do over the last decade would be our first signing is Olise for like 65 million quid. And then we go at the end of the transfer window, we go, we don't have a striker. We go, is there any free agent out there we can get last minute that's got a bit of a big name?
Then pre-season happens, he gets injured, doesn't start the season because his hamstring's dodgy. You go, exactly. What have we done?
Exactly. That would be
another Mason Mount.
That would be peak Manchester United to do. So obviously, look, if we get to 2 months' time, we've signed nobody, then you can go, what were we doing with that kind of thing? But I do agree with the notion that it's not a priority position in the sense of other positions are. We desperately need a striker. We desperately need a midfielder. Desperately need a left back, centre back, obviously. So yeah, I think there are more pressing concerns for that.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get to the super chats. Tabrez says, and members chats as well. Big up to you, Tabrez, bro. Always showing love. Always good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Says, I feel we can truly judge Ineos's transfer strategy from next summer. Whatever they do this summer sets a precedent for the future windows, which must be followed. Yeah, I see where you're going with that. WJ Barrett, been a member for 23 months. Big up to you, bro. Says, morning, Flex and Owen. We don't need Olise. We have Ahmad, Anthony, Rashford, Garnacho all play there. We need other priority signings. It will be all wrong, which is essentially what me and Owen were just discussing. Jigs 3000 says, it's not the position. It's not that the position is a priority, but the quality of player in a couple of years when we are looking for a right winger, we will be looking at him at 100 million. Yeah, I see that. You're basically saying, you leave Olise to keep cooking like he is. He's going to be a £100 million player. It's about bringing in better quality in that area. I don't disagree with that. Is he better than Anthony? Yes. Is Olise better than Garnacho? Different, isn't he? Really?
Well, and also
the way he plays the game, like how he is now, like how he manipulates the ball. He's more comfortable with the ball at his feet. He's more creative. But for Garnacho, in terms of getting at you, and they're just different types of wingers, aren't they?
Well, and also, really? I think we'd have to be careful about going after players out of fear of what they could be in a couple of years' time. Again, that's quite sort of the approach that we've done in the past. We have to be confident in our own scouting and recruitment that, okay, we didn't get this one because it wasn't the right time. There are other people out there. We'll find the next one. There are always people out there. That's what you've got to be confident with. You've got to be confident of. We've got 4 or 5 other players that we're very confident that we can bring in, for less of a price. If put it this way, so often we have bent to other clubs' demands or other agents or players' demands because we're desperate. It should be flipped around, going, no, if the offer's not right for us, if the time isn't right for us, then it's not right to do the deal, because we've got other priorities, other pressing concerns. That's where we need to get to. And we then also, as fans, have to be careful what we wish for that, because that might mean we miss out on certain players because we're trying to act a bit more rational and logical.
Yeah. You have to be willing to do that. Obviously, the chat's saying he's 100% clear. Don't even try. And fair enough. All right. Olise is clear of Garnacho. No problem with that. He is right now. That's fine. I'm just saying the attributes that they both have and why Garnacho actually works for us and why he's been one of our players of the season. But Olise is better. I get that. But like Owen said, it's just about priorities. We could say, right, is our biggest priority trying to find somebody who's better than Garnacho right now? I don't think it is. And that's where I'm like, plus with the injuries, it's like, what does that look like? Because one thing Garnacho is robust. I give him that. He plays every game. But yeah, different types of wingers. But yeah, Olise's better. But again, spending big money to get someone who's better than Garnacho, to put Garnacho to the bench, and then that stops us getting a striker, that would hurt us more, in my opinion. International says Eric Ten Hag dropped the ball on Ahmad and got proven wrong. And Mr. K, been a member for 7 months, says, Owen, when will you stop trolling Chelsea? They are better than us. They got better players. Next season, they'll finish above us again. Enough, man.
Never. I will never stop trolling Chelsea. And do you know why? Do you know where it stems from? It stems from how badly they're run as a club. And this comes from a Man United fan, by the way. So we know badly run clubs when we see it, yeah? Chelsea. And still to now, I see people try and dress up that they're really well run. They're going, because they're going for Olise, they're going, Chelsea, man, they're showing ambition. All right, let's see. They had their sort of best period of time they've had in what, 18 months, 2 years, and they've gone a different direction. Different direction. And they've got a coach from Leicester who everyone's like, well, we'll see how that one plays out. We'll see how that one lasts. And even with the Olise thing we were talking about, we're going like, they've already got like loads of wingers under contract.
Mate,
the way
it's like us.
If
we just went and got Kieran McKenna now, all our fans would go mad. Like, that's basically what it's like. Because really, it's like having a good 5 games. Let's say from Newcastle to the cup final, which us was what, 3 games, right? 3 or 4 games. Chelsea had like 5 games in a row where they won them all and turned it around. So everyone was like, actually, Pochettino's doing something here.
Yeah.
And because those 5 games come at the right time, he went up the table, basically. Which, you know, for 30 odd games, for 34 games, probably 33 games, it was dross. So he had a good 5 games. Looked like he's going to turn the corner, but then they changed the manager and got someone younger. Got a new guy in Maresca. If we did that now, from winning the FA Cup, doing all right against Newcastle and Brighton, winning them games anyway, and then got inexperienced Kieran McKenna, we'd get ridiculed.
Yeah, like then my thing with them is it's not even like, again, they don't have good players. Chelsea got some good players. Cole Palmer's fantastic player. They do. They got some good players. But at the same time, I mean, look at the money they've spent. I mean, look at they're giving people like 9-year contracts. They had to change the rule about it. Like, they are just the way they operate. In a couple of years' time, they're going to get a different chairman as well because they're going to pass it around. You know, it's just
getting another centre back as well in tossing.
It's more on again. It's more on the way that they're run. And look, we'll see what happens next season. Of course, I think the expectation would be, and this is maybe might actually hurt them a little bit because I think for the last year, Chelsea fans, you talk to Matisse, they haven't expected anything, really. They're like, well, look, we know we are. This isn't the Chelsea that I knew, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But now, because of the end of the season, they're like, well, we should be good then next season. So if it doesn't happen again, they're gonna be like, what is going on?
If it doesn't get top 4, I said to Quaker yesterday on TalkSport, and I've been saying to Matisse, what's the minimum requirement now for Enzo Maresca in his first season ever managing at this level? Must get top 4. We got 6th, last year. With this squad, and they're telling us the squad's good enough. We've got good players. We're only in Conference League. We must get in the Champions League. I'm like, already there you go. If they don't get in the Champions League, all them fans are gonna be like, he ain't done enough. He's got to get out. When like we can clearly see with the Champions League, there's no God-given right to get in it. It's bloody hard.
Not
now.
at all. Yeah.
Don't know what Aston Villa are going to be like. Newcastle, this Liverpool,
Spurs. This sums it up, yeah, Flex. So, arguably one of their better players, a homegrown player, an academy player, Conor Gallagher, yeah. They're going, they're in talks to Aston Villa.
Yeah, I'm selling them, yeah.
Like, and again, they do this every summer because they view their academy now as purely a cash cow. We fail in the league, so we need to use them to bail us out of an FFP hole, essentially. They're going to be the next. They're going to be the next who in the Premier League going, these rules.
Because it's not that important. It's because it's not that important to them. That they stumbled on it when they had the transfer ban, when they had to use like Reece James, Mason Mount, the Cobham guys, that was, the Tammy Abrahams and the Callum Hudson-Odoi, all of that when they had that crop that was just coming through. Then they achieved success with it. But essentially, that's not their model. That's not what their ideologies and DNA is built off of. They were built off of Roman Abramovich came in and gave them everything. That's the real history of Chelsea. I know I argue with Rory and he's like, we won stuff before that. We were this. Yeah, but essentially you didn't have the top honours really on a consistent basis.
Not to the extent,
until you got bought by Roman Abramovich. And then your model was as soon as it doesn't work, change it. Pump more money. As soon as it
Yeah.
doesn't work, change it. And it worked. Just keep changing the manager, keep changing the manager. Now
Yeah.
they just keep changing the manager without the success, which is worse. Mr. K, Mike says, but we need creativity as the ones we don't create. I feel we should get him in terms of Olise because he's a different type of winger to what we got. Centre the first crack had been meant for 23 months. Says thoughts on City trying to sue the league. We'll talk about that at the end of the show because that's
ridiculous.
It's incredible what's happening. Something needs to be done now.
Some of the phrases, it the
tyranny?
Tyranny of the majority.
Piss off, man.
City don't like democracy.
The very thing that they voted for as well. Just let's not even. Let's move on. Let's deal with the Man United matters first.
Yes. So
Eric Ten Hag.
Rumors, Flex. Rumors. This is a really, really weird one. Now, there haven't been any official reports again because no one's really at this point going on record to say Eric Ten Hag's going to stay or he's going to get sacked on this date. But last night, there were rumblings, shall we say, on social media. One of which was from this account here, at SLBSN. Now you go, who is that? Well, I think they're like a football sort of finance kind of person.
Who is
they're appearing on TalkSport, I think, today to talk about the Manchester City situation. They talk a lot about Manchester City. And the key aspect here, followed by the likes of David Ornstein, Omar Barada specifically. So there's a kind of City connection, if you will. He tweeted out this saying, if I was Ten Hag, I'd turn off my phone tomorrow. And I went, Omar Barada knows him. What's going on there? There was also a tweet from Alejandro Garnacho's brother yesterday being like, I don't want to be on here tomorrow. Something like, I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember the exact tweet. But there was this sort of, it started to snowball that something's going to happen today, basically. Now, very quickly, he backtracked, deleted this and said, misunderstood. I was just saying it was a good day to bury the story, but I don't have information and I didn't want people to think that I do. He then posted another tweet saying, regarding Ten Hag,
brother,
got zero info. It was just an observation about it being a good day for a distracted media. It should have been clearer. No info here. So, but it got people talking. And like I said, I think Garnacho's brother tweeted something that he later deleted to suggest that something might happen today. But I don't know about you, Flex. Look, something could happen today. But I feel like take out Ten Hag and put in Qatar takeover, and I feel like we've lived this.
Yeah.
Is this not like Groundhog Day at the moment going, Qatar's going to make an announcement that they've purchased Manchester United tomorrow, and then it gets deleted. That's not what I meant. I just meant that this could happen tomorrow. And then we sit on pins and needles all today and nothing happens. We go, oh, so what was that? I mean, is this once again just the sheer vacuum of information that we're just desperate?
Of course it is. It's people could latch onto it, strategically say something. Oh, didn't mean that. Oh, got my engagement. Oh, yeah, got my likes. Oh, sorry. Yeah, didn't mean to say that. Oh, then I've got more engagement and stuff like that. It's just a load of rubbish. At the end of the day, there are certain points where we do truly know. Like when we know what it looks like. We've been doing this long enough. We've all been in, and I'm talking to you guys as well. I'm talking to you at home. We all have been on football social enough to know when things become a reality or when things seem like they're rubber stamped. Every joke, all the big wigs are there. Everybody gets involved. Is Owen frozen? Or was it me? Oh, is he back? Okay, you froze on my screen a little bit there. But you're all right. You're good now. I feel like that happens all the time. And what we're getting is people that are just looking to just get in, cash in on some engagement, jump back out again and say, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Sorry, it wasn't what I was saying. It's a load of rubbish. He knows what he was saying. Why would you say that? You know what sort of reaction? Sorry, should have been clearer. It's just stupid. It's just a non-story stupidity. Now, look, doesn't mean what I'm saying is it's not related to the actual decision. So if Ten Hag, if it does come out today or tomorrow or this week that Ten Hag is going to be relieved, it doesn't mean this guy was right all along. It just means that he did something silly and then it so happened that later on he got sacked or something. It's not to do with the person saying, told you should turn his phone off. Because then if he comes back to the party and says, I did say on Tuesday night, he should turn his phone off. I did say, well, no, you also just said, didn't mean to say that. Don't know anything, mate. So
it just means like you can't win.
It's like the Qatar thing. That's what it is.
Yeah, you can't win because
nobody knows.
If he did hear something, this guy, and let's say hypothetically something does happen today, then it could be a situation where he got a phone call that was literally like, what are you fucking talking about, mate? Why are you saying that? That was said at the conference. Why are you doing it for Twitter likes? Or like he's sort of suggesting, well, no, I just talk a lot about, Manchester City. I've got ties to City. And obviously with the story coming out, the City are suing the Premier League and people are talking about that. I was just kind of sort of saying, oh, if Man United were going to make a decision, it might be that day to sort of bury it under the other news that's going on at the moment, which is a very legitimate thing that he might have said. So it basically just means, again, like you said, it's the takeover thing. No, nobody knows. The one thing that we should have learned from that takeover thing is, though, that, I mean, my goodness me, did that drag out? And it felt like there were legitimate reasons for it dragging out, negotiating back and forth, trying to get the best deal. In this situation, you go, well, what you dragging out here? Like, surely you've got all your data now. You've got all your information. Why are you taking long? Like we said yesterday, is that based on you want to do a thing where if you do get rid of him, the next day you can announce the new guy? Is that the situation that we're doing here? Like the Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho thing. Once it's announced, Louis van Gaal's leaving, Jose Mourinho's in like the next day. Is that what we're doing?
But it's taking so long that they do need to do that, though. I would say that.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you think that they can't do this and then say,
of course,
oh,
we can't have 4 weeks
until we won't make any more comment. I think Chelsea did it, didn't they? We only got rid of what's his name, Pochettino, and yes, Maresca was within what, a week, maybe a week.
Like a week or so, and he doesn't start.
They went through, but it was the Kieran McKenna thing a bit. It was like, oh, it's going to be here. What we can't go through this and then have that like, oh, is it going to be this person? Is it going to be that? Is it going? They need to say like the day after or the same day. Like, you can't.
Yeah, but then again, how will people feel about that? Will that be perceived as sneaky? What I mean? Would that be perceived as, you know what I mean? You've strung Eric along this whole time, and then it's like Eric's gone, Thomas Tuchel's in. Everyone's like, so this whole time you left us in the lurch and you left him in a job. You knew you were going to get rid of him, and he didn't know because by all accounts, how long is he on holiday for at the moment? Like, when is he due back to go to Carrington? Is he due back at any point? Also, too, like, was he going to have any sit-down talks? He said that he had them. Man United said that they haven't. Like, is he just going to be on holiday and get a phone call? Sorry, Eric, don't come back.
Basically. And I think, what? I just had a moment, mate.
Go on.
I think they're gonna sack him.
I said this yesterday. I said I woke up yesterday morning.
I don't know why.
I had a similar thing yesterday morning. I woke up and you go, haven't heard anything in a few days, and then you go, haven't heard anything in a few days. You go, yeah. This doesn't feel. It
just doesn't feel right. And guys in the chat, right? This is not me like. Like, I haven't changed my opinion on what I want to happen. I'm merely saying that this is what I think Ineos will do. Why Flex says Joe Blackman? Flex has had a moment since Daniel. Like, I can't explain it. I just feel like
it's too
something just
quiet.
hit me. Like,
the problem is too quiet.
This doesn't feel like the backing of a guy that they want to move forward with. It sounds like they're just trying to find every last solution or put things in place so that once they say it, they can crack on quickly because they know the backlash is going to be strong. Like you said, they didn't say it before, straight after the FA Cup final. Let the dust settle. And again, I'm not trying to do what these guys are doing on social media. I have no sources or information whatsoever. This is me in my brain on Wednesday, the 5th of June at 9:41 a.m. That's all, where I just had a moment. And the more I'm thinking about it on the spot and just taking it all in, and Owen had this, he said yesterday morning, it feels more uneasy. And before we were sort of thinking maybe it's a good thing the longer you don't hear anything because, apparently they wanted to sack him before the final. So the longer it goes within, it means they haven't sacked him yet. And it means that, they're thinking, oh, bloody hell, we'll probably keep this guy. But it just feels uneasy. But the rumours have the rumours haven't changed in terms of, oh, Man United is still speaking to XYZ should they decide to, sack Ten Hag. Oh, Tuchel would love the job. What was it? Someone in Germany said the other day, I saw a report saying that people at Bayern were really sure that the reason why he didn't accept it was because he knew he'd be at the top of the list for Man United. There's all of that stuff still there, right? And now, realistically, it's not McKenna. Let's be honest. It's De Zerbi, it's Thomas Tuchel, it's Pochettino. Those are the three. Let's be honest. Unless something crazy happened from nowhere, ain't going to be Thomas Frank, ain't going to be Gareth Southgate, and ain't going to be Kieran McKenna. So really, those three are the only viable three that we are concrete aware of, and all three of them are available, just sitting there, essentially, or having negotiations or whatever. Well, because I think Ineos must be talking to like all three. I honestly do.
Well, this was kind of my sort of thing. I thought yesterday when I woke up, a bit like you, when you just sort of take a step back and look at things that are happening, or rather not happening at the moment. You go, at this stage, I don't know. I'd be more surprised now if the news came out. Yeah, he's definitely staying. I'd be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah,
but I'd be more surprised. Like, it just doesn't feel like that. If you know what it feels like. It feels like when you've done like a test. And you come out of it going, I don't think I did very well in that test. And then you have to wait.
You get the result.
You have to, and then you have to wait for like 2 months or whatever. And you go, you're opening the envelope, and you're hoping. Like you're hoping, you're going, like, you never know what can happen. And then you open it, and you see the results, you go, yeah, I did shit at that one. I don't know. But because of the amount of time that passes from when you did the test versus getting your results, you go, wow. You can't start dressing up a little bit, don't you? Start going, no, maybe, a couple of answers. Multiple choice was in there as well. That wasn't too bad. I think I hit some marks pretty well. And I think the distance, when you really think about it, seems a bit twofold, doesn't it? One, like I said before, to get as much distance from the FA Cup final win as possible. Let that simmer, let that settle down. And then two, maybe to do the legwork on another person, on another guy, because they know, because of the FA Cup final, the reaction is going to be so severe, so intense. What's the way to dissipate that? Get someone in straight away.
It has to be straight away. It has to be so quick that, like, don't get me wrong. Listen, and I mean this with the greatest of respect to Eric, because I want him to stay. But let's all be real. As soon as it like a 4 to 7 days passes, a week passes of the outrage of I can't believe we've done it. And the new guy's in doing a presser saying, I'm so happy to be here. I'm telling you now, because even by speaking to Chelsea fans, right? With Batiste and Sam Obaseki and Quaker, it's like, well, yeah, we were like, fucking hell, Jesus Christ. This Enzo Maresca guy's only managed about 60 odd games in his whole career, but now I'm locked in. What can I do? I can't, what am I going to do? Keep coming on here every day saying, it's awful. It's a disgrace. We're going to be crap. We're going to be this. We're going to be that. Yes, you express it at the beginning. Say, I don't think this is a good decision. I don't think we should have done this. I'm worried for our future. But there comes a point where you have to go, right, let's see this thing. And that's where Ineos need to get their asses in gear and get moving very, very quickly. Otherwise, it's going to be really bad, basically, the feeling around the club.
Yeah,
I mean, football moves quickly.
Markurin says, United View, why would Ineos say we are keeping the manager? No one else is doing that. He's not been sacked, so everything is status quo. It wouldn't necessarily be Ineos that say it, but if a David Ornstein does the siren and goes, Eric Ten Hag staying at Manchester United next season, then he would have got that from somewhere. So it's not necessarily that they would come directly from the club, because I don't know how they would effectively communicate that. Because if you have a Manchester United statement, corner flag, Ten Hag staying, that would imply that there was a decision to get rid of him at one point, which maybe they don't want to do. But it would be reported. It would be, either way, the outcome of all of this is going to be reported. You're either going to get a statement from Man United saying Ten Hag's gone, and whoever this next person is going to be, or there is going to be, instead an Ornstein or Romano or whoever to be he's staying. They've done the review and he's sticking around. He's expected back on this date. Blah blah blah. Like that's what will happen, and we're waiting. We're waiting to find out either way.
Akash says Man United could have been priced out of Olise if true, and Andy says Flex Ten Hag doesn't get sacked by Friday. I will be nice. Big up to you, Andy. Didn't cuss me. Just came through and just yeah. Wow, that's weird. Andy just doesn't normally do that. V33 says Man City is like catching my ex-wife cheating on me, but she takes me to court for nonsense before I file for adultery. A game of cat and mouse. Lame BS. I mean, yeah, the City thing's just crazy. It really is. We've got nearly 600 likes and 1,800 people watching, basically. So be good if you can share the video, let your friends know you're watching, drop it in your group chats, etc., etc. Try and get to 2,000 people watching live. And again, that's 750. We always get close just before we exit the show. So if we could get to 750, that would be really, really good. Let's do that. Right, on to the next, Owen. Again now, more reports, rumours, etc., etc. Jadon Sancho.
Yes, Jadon Sancho. Before we get there, by the way, you can see in the top right-hand corner, we are 32 subscribers away from 169,000.
Come on, guys.
So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. It's always quite euphoric when it happens live on stream as opposed to not on stream. So if you haven't already, subscribe, and maybe we can have a big celebration by the time this show ends. But yes, Jadon Sancho, the latest when it comes to Jadon Sancho and his Manchester United future. Interestingly, after Dortmund's bravado flex, they can't afford him. They can't afford to buy him this coming from Sport Bild in Germany, saying that the signs are pointing to Jadon Sancho not signing for Borussia Dortmund. A permanent transfer is too expensive. The only option is another loan. Dortmund will make a proposal to Manchester United. What do you think with this one? I mean,
the only option is another loan.
Another loan. But, it's the only option, another loan, but it's obligation to buy. So then from an FFP perspective, you're like, well, we're getting that money. That's guaranteed. That's not going anywhere. Like, there's no way he goes on a loan without, like, a mandatory buy option at this point. Like,
why are they so broke? I thought they were family and we always believed. You see what I mean? You see? Yeah. They've got all the chest on social media about, oh, we love you, Jadon. You're back home. Well, find the money then. Find the money. It bollocks.
And we said that at the time when they did that tweet, didn't they? Have been like, what was it about doubting him or whatever? And we all said they went, all right,
fine.
Keep that energy in June and July then.
Exactly. Pull economic levers.
Yeah. So suddenly you're like, well, 25 million. I'm sorry.
It's mental.
What was that? But does it raise a problem for United? Because there's someone that, according to a report the other day, it's not that he's closed the door in his Manchester United career, but he has if Erik ten Hag's there, which look, Erik ten Hag might not be there. Maybe that's part of the point. But what do you think happens? What do you think is the outcome with Jadon Sancho?
They probably will do another loan, won't they? He can't come back. I don't think he'll come back unless the manager changes. If the manager, and this is what I was saying. Remember, I was saying before, like, and it was quite. It was before all the Ten Hag stuff really kicked off. When the conversation was just about Jadon, like, oh, could he ever play for us again? I was like, well, you never know. Ineos could bring in their new guy, and it could just be a whole new thing where they say, look, he's a young talent. We believe in him. English player. We've got him on our books already. With our new setup, we believe that he can do X, Y, Z. And, we sort of had a bit of pushback saying, well, Sancho probably wouldn't want to come back, or, Ineos want to just move on and get a clean slate. No sort of, what do you call it? Like dead old wood or old problems. But if they change the manager and they're strong leaders, they won't really care about like what the fans will say. They will believe in the business decision for it. And if they get a new manager, if they get Thomas Tuchel, right? Let me just paint the picture. Mm-hmm. If they get Thomas Tuchel, forget us fans about what we feel about what he did to Erik ten Hag, and when people say player power and you shouldn't do that, just take that out a second. Just put yourself in Ineos' shoes. If you're the new people coming in, and you detach your strong leadership, so you're not going off the emotion of what the fans think. You're thinking purely business and football strategy for how to get Man United back to the top. You believe Jadon Sancho is still a really good player. The people that you've brought in are the sorts of people that would have gone and identified someone like Jadon Sancho, like Wilcox and this, that, and the other, all that, Ashworth. The manager you bring in likes him a lot because you made a bold decision to get rid of the manager that most people want to keep, by the way. So that shows you aren't afraid to make big decisions. And you sit down with Thomas Tuchel or Pochettino or whoever it is and say, what do you reckon? What do you think? I'd love to use him in my squad. He'd be my starting right winger. Like, he's fantastic. Like, I've got a plan for him in my system. I want him in the squad. That's brilliant. We were thinking the same thing. Be a bit dodgy at the start, but, once we get him down, he start getting results and he starts performing. Fans will forget. That's what they will think.
Do you think though that last line's critical about fans forgetting? Do you think they will though? I mean, and the only reason I say this is because you've seen the sort of treatment of a Harry Maguire and a Marcus Rashford in the past. Of like, I know that we say the way to get over it is performances. So if he was to come back and he put in good performances, but we'd forget, it would certainly help causes, wouldn't it? But because it's not necessarily his fault in this regard, but he would also represent like Erik ten Hag. If Erik ten Hag's gone, we don't see him at Old Trafford again. But if Jadon Sancho's still there, that anger or resentment about Erik ten Hag leaving unfairly so to an extent, would be pointed at him, wouldn't it? Be like, you fell out of Eric, you know,
It
and
would,
you're here.
and there'll be immense
And
pressure if he
does
doesn't
that
perform.
create
Of
a
course.
problem? And does that create a
Well,
further
it
problem?
only creates a problem if he doesn't perform. If he performs, it wouldn't.
And then also on top of that, we're looking at Ineos, you know, trying to remove some of the highest earners. United, Sancho falls into that category too. And if he goes to him and be like, well, obviously I'll be back, but if Eric's here, I'll be back. If not, you know, then I want out. Then maybe Ineos do look at it and just go, okay, then we'll let you go. I just think there's a lot of baggage there.
What about this then? What about Ineos doing the business side of things, saying, Jaden, I'm not saying they're going to make him stay if Eric stays, but what if they say, well, Eric has gone, but also Dortmund can't afford you, so we're not willing to just our model. That's not how this works. You're back in our squad. You work under the
look, that might be.
They can do that. Still our player. We get to tell him what he can and can't do.
Well, no, not even that.
Of player power.
Not that. I mean, it might be a case of like, okay, Eric's gone. Dortmund can't afford you. We've got some other offers on the table. He might be like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go to those.
Or that way around.
So and then he ends,
so there's so many ways round.
He ends up sticking around.
And football is a funny sport. And you're right. It's not the way it should be because the player power stinks. That's why my stance on the situation of when Sancho got exiled, I stood with Eric Ten Hag the whole way. Still do. Like in terms of like why he, you know, didn't get to come back into the squad because he didn't apologize, to the point where people in the chat were saying, you just hate on Sancho. You know, hopefully he goes and wins the Champions League. And, you know, it was coming across like I don't like Sancho. It wasn't. I just think he dealt with that situation wrong. And when you do that publicly, there's only one way back. And that's to say sorry. If you don't, you can't come back. Cool. He chose to do what he did. But football's a crazy game, man. Like, you know, things are around the corner that you don't think. We didn't even think we'd be in a situation where that just happened and Sancho wouldn't even be here anymore. Do you know what I mean? And new things have, like you said, and like we always have agreed on, it's like everything changed as soon as Ineos got here. It's just different. It's a different ball game. We have no idea. We're in a position now where we're like, Eric deserves more time, but these guys might be like, no, we've seen this is not our guy. We're doing what we want to do. We're doing what we think's best for the football. And Jadon Sancho is a good player. Yes, there was politics before. He's under this stewardship now. He's under this manager now. Here's what we will tolerate versus what we won't tolerate. And he's an asset to Man United. And Dortmund can't afford him. So we're not going to let him go for free. He's playing.
Although, interestingly, we've got a few people in the Manchester United executive hierarchy now that have experience and tenure at Manchester City. Now, I don't know if their time at Manchester City overlaps with Jadon Sancho's time at Manchester City, but even with Jason Wilcox being the head of academy, even if it wasn't Sancho was there, they would have heard stories. You know, at the very least, even if they weren't there at the time, although I think they might have been, did they look at it and do they already know? Go, no, we're not going to. We're not
exactly. And then again, that could help us.
Then that's another thing. What I will say though is Dortmund, just pay up, man. Let's not pretend that you haven't got the money or anything like that. They just got to the Champions League final. I think they just got money for Jude Bellingham winning the Champions League, by the way, as well, because that's part of the clause on his deal to go to Real Madrid in the first place. So that's not. We're not asking for 100 million. We're not asking for what we paid to Dortmund or anything like that. Let's not forget this is the same club at one point that wanted 100 million for him, and Man United walked away from that one. So let's not even pretend. Oh no, we can't.
And that's why I'm annoyed about it, because I know we can't just have Sancho back if he doesn't want to be here. Like that gives us a bigger problem because obviously it was toxic last time. So I'm not saying just out of spite of Dortmund. Nah, let him come back home. We'll just keep him. Like there has to be good conditions for that to happen. That's why I'm like, we might give in and just be like, have another loan, but with obligation. But it's like that thing of like make them pay and like they keep chatting all this shit is true. Like what? Pay the money then. Like, you know what I mean? Make them fret.
And also, if it's a case of, well, we can't afford Sancho's wages, hey, ball's in Sancho's court. How badly do you want to go? How badly do you want to work that one out? If you really want to go, you find a way.
Yeah. Let me go back up. Hold on, V33. WJ Barrett says, when is Eric Ten Hag back off holiday? Won't sack him while away. We don't know, though. Yeah, no. Don't know. Maybe they will sack him while he's away. Maybe we'll get a phone call saying, Eric, yep, we've made a decision.
Maybe it's a bit of a permanent holiday. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Nur says 3 finals and 2 cups in 2 years, and you're under review in your second season because of injuries beyond your control. Let's just think about that. Yeah, the immediate pushback is, worst ever finish, minus goal difference, all this kind of stuff. No style of play. Rory C says, only way to get Jadon Sancho back in the team is to sack Eric Ten Hag. That's what I mean. It would open up a new opening there. And Ravel says, if Eric Ten Hag is sacked and new manager, ideally De Zerbi for you, finishes 8th with an FA Cup, do you think the fan base will be impatient because no growth technically? Exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Trophy. When do the trophies start? Do you know what I mean? You
People
can't finish 8th again.
There is no doubt. It's only logical, isn't it? Because everyone does it. It's not even just related to Man United, but like whatever happens next season will be compared to this season just gone.
100%.
I.e., if we don't win a trophy, they'll be like, we won a trophy last season. If we
finish
in the top
higher
four,
up,
finish in the top 4, people are like, wow, finish in the top 4. If we finish outside the top 4 and don't win a trophy, then people are going to be like, what happened there then? You're like,
I do feel like, although
that's
I say
the gamble any us to take
about trophies, 100%, and it is all about trophies. Football's about winning, but also you can't keep winning and just finishing 8th. That means you're shit. It does.
No,
it
does.
It means like finishing like 7th or 6th all the time, but you keep winning. Like no, because really and truly, really good teams, they compete for the top honors, and you can't compete for the top honors when you finish 6th and 7th. You can't, and 5th and 8th. You can't. Like it's just how it is now. It means if you win the FA Cup, it means for a couple of games against some big teams and some one-off games, you can turn up. That's what it means. And this is me who's had the sunglasses on for the parade. But let's not get this twisted. Winning FA Cups, cup competitions, like forget Champions League because we're never going to finish high enough at the moment to even get in it. So we're winning cups that, like, yes, on your day you have to be on it and devise a plan for 90 minutes. You can do that. But when you're coming up against different types of teams every week in your league and you keep getting opened up by Bournemouth and Fulham and bloody Burnley and, Sheffield United, all this stuff, that's a bigger problem than, like, we did it once where we've had our worst, because it's only one time. That's why everyone's like, come on, let him do some more. If we continue to finish like 6th, 7th, but win an Carabao Cup, no, we have to start finishing way higher than this, way higher.
And again,
competing for the league.
The pressure's always on Manchester United manager for the season. But like the pressure, if it was to be a replacement, would be huge because it's like, again, it's almost unspoken, isn't it? About, look, if you don't get top 4 and you're a Man United manager, you're going to get the sack. But now it's like properly spoken, isn't it? It'll be spoken.
Yeah.
Like basically, if you don't get the Champions League this season, you ain't going to be in the job next season. So, and then the fail safe of that is, oh, and by the way, you could win a trophy and it still doesn't matter. Like
no, because that's not the be all. It's true, and this is more on the outcome.
Now it's more spoken.
Now
it's spoken about. Previously, that's the thing with Ten Hag. It's not really been spoken of. Well, if you don't get top 4, you're going to lose your job or anything like that. Now it will be spoken. It will be like, look, top 4, you're out, done.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is going to be
big up to Minna as well. Minna says, I'm still a member because I can't be asked to cancel direct debit subscriptions. Hit the likes, peeps, and happy Wednesday. Well, how about that support from the team?
I was going to say, Minna's, I would more, Minna's still a member because,
for 13 months.
Minna's more a member still because the content's really good, and she really enjoys the perks of being a member as opposed to just can't because keep forgetting to cancel the direct debit, But hey, it's worth it.
It's worth it. It's ultimate support as well, Now she's remembered she could be bothered to cancel it right now, but she still hasn't because she's a loyal member of the team. Pick up Queen Me. And like we always say, links in the video description to all the guys' channels. KG's, Minners, make sure you do it. Owens as well. Yes, Benjamin Sesko.
Yes, just a little bit on Benjamin Sesko. We spoke about him quite a lot yesterday, didn't we? And Fabrizio Romano has given another update on him, saying Manchester United, Chelsea and Arsenal will put their projects on the table to Benjamin Sesko. He has now to decide if he wants to leave RB Leipzig because they've offered him an important proposal too, which is kind of, this is again, we're getting into Romano-ese here, which is the same thing he had said previously with, there's a contract offer on the table from Leipzig. Lots of clubs want him. And just goes back to what we were talking about before, isn't it? Of going, yes, it's a priority striker, but what's the profile we're looking for? We're looking for young, side by side with Rasmus Højlund. We're looking for older to support. Are we looking for like a lot older? That's just sort of off the bench alternative. What do we want? That's the question. But Sesko, he does have a release clause. I think it's 65 million euros, so around sort of 60 to 55 million quid. You're getting someone that's actually younger than Rasmus Højlund. He's ready. He's ready-made, ready to go. In terms of you don't have to negotiate all that much. The only negotiation I suppose you have is with him and his agent because you want to give him the best deal to sort of get him away from other clubs that finished higher than Man United last season in Arsenal and Chelsea and maybe other ones too. But hey, like we said, at this moment, Flex, if we're in the race for a player, are you confident that we can win said race?
No, but no, I'm not. I'm not confident we can win said race. But it also depends on what race it is, isn't it? Like, what is interesting is Romano's saying that we have, gone like put something towards Sesko. That is interesting. Actually, we should really note that because we've been like, well, what do we need? Which way do we go? Well, according to Fabrizio Romano, we've contacted him and put. He hasn't really gone as far as to say as an offer, has he? But he's
Proposal.
in loads of different
Proposal.
So
But release clauses are weird, aren't they? Because you do with release clauses. Sirens in the chat. You do it
in the chat.
You kind of do it backwards, don't you? Because you negotiate with the player and all that kind of stuff, and then you just go right. So we've got an agreement. Then let's go trigger your release.
Yeah, because it's easy to do that. Yeah,
yeah.
But like just with us in terms of the profile of who would like we're saying, we've got one young striker already. We would have thought maybe we get the more experienced 25 to 28-year-old striker, maybe a little bit older. But it seems like Man United are there at the table. And again, guess what will happen? We do need another striker, though. So if he goes Arsenal or if he goes Chelsea...
It's going to be a meltdown, yeah.
Because this actually is one of the priority positions, though. But it's like, well, how do you know we're not saving that money to get a more experienced striker? We don't want two Rasmuses. And I know that could be a bit lazy analysis to say that he's just going to be Rasmus. He's just going to struggle in most games, and but like because he could be way better, he might just take to the league and be really, really good. But he's still a young, up and coming prospect.
Do you think it would be a bit of copium if he does go to Arsenal? Like we don't need two young ones. It's fine.
Nah, because if he did go, it's like that one. You can't say he's not like a genuine like.
He'll play. He'll start for Arsenal every game, won't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Because they haven't got their Rasmus yet. Do you see what I mean? And this is where this is where, as fans, we're fickle and we're also like reactionary. And I'm saying I'm putting myself because basically Arsenal keep saying in there that we have to get a striker. That's what we need. In January, they were like, we need Ivan Toney. They didn't do it. They made do with Havertz and he's done all right. But they're still like, we need that 25 goal man, the number 9. It's not Jesus. It's not Havertz. We need to find it. We last year said, right, we don't have any strikers. We need a young up and coming. We can get our teeth in. None of this stopgap rubbish. And we got it in Rasmus. He's exactly what we asked for. Not for that money, but that young striker you can get your
ish.
Yeah, no,
because we wanted two. We wanted two.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, I'm talking about that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. So the first one we said we wanted Kane and Rasmus, or Rasmus and Osimhen, or Rasmus and Lewandowski. Do you know what I'm saying? We want the older one and the younger one. So what I'm saying is we've got the project striker, what we asked for. Now we want the second part of that, which is the proven, guaranteed guy. And now we've seen Rasmus for a year. We're now like, well, he struggled in a lot. That's why our plan was right, where we need the experienced one to go with the youngster. But then we was always in for like a Benjamin Sesko before and know how good he is. And we're like, well, if you got two like gunmen there, young, hungry, that could be really good. And if he goes Arsenal, he'll be sick. So we start getting fickle and going, oh, we need him. Why have we let him go there? Depends. It depends what the plan is of who we get instead of him.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you said, you can either stick to the idea in the first place, which is, no, it's an experienced one and a young one. It just took an extra year to get the older one, but we've got the older one now.
Oh, we got it.
Or you go like, this whole thing about, that's both youngsters, is that a risk? You just go, well, let them fight out. If whoever's the best one, they'll play more often. Whoever scores the most goals, they'll play more often. That's
how it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they're getting a rest, then they're getting a rest. So watch this space on Benjamin Sesko.
Yes.
Watch this space. Guys, smash the like on the video. We got to 730 likes. So I'm pretty certain that you guys can put an extra 20 likes onto that for the 750 on the way out. There's already one through the door there. So please do like the video on the way out. Get us to 750. We'll be back with a lot more content soon. As you can imagine, it's all changing. It's all going off. There'll be a Flexing KG show very, very soon as well. He's back from Saudi. So we'll sort that out for you guys as well. So much to come. Stay tuned to the channel. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and do like this video as well. Big show. Thanks for getting involved. We said it would be a jam-packed show. It was. And we'll see you very soon. Take care. Peace.